So, hello everybody. Welcome to The Last of Us Episode 7 review. Uh, yes, we are already on Episode 7. And while we are reviewing Episode 7, I also have some bad news. So, as you know, I've been recording footage for the game while playing, or while watching the show. And apparently, I don't know when, but I did lose a small gap. It's actually right after this recording that is currently playing. I lose a small gap. The gap is simply just after the you leave the water plant and then go find Ellie, and then it resumes back at the university. So it's not even too much, but the thing is, that was the last episode that happened, so that is unfortunate. But yeah, let's actually get into episode 7. Episode 7 was definitely, I would say, the third best episode. It could not beat episode 5 or 3 for. I might have changed my opinion over time, but 5 and 3 have currently been my favorite episodes. 3 being the best episode. Either way, this episode was pretty solid. I'm not sure what I gave 5 or 3 anymore. Again, I'll probably be doing a re-ranking to an actual genuine score, so don't really follow along with the scores for this until the show is over. I'd say this episode was relatively solid, though. I gave episode 3 a 9, and probably I'll say episode 5 I gave a 8.5. So this one, not a solid 8, I will give a 8.4, as this episode was pretty good. I didn't play through the DLC, but I have seen Arya play through the DLC, and honestly, the DLC didn't really interest me. The thing with the kind of DLC is that it's, you know, it's a not really for gameplay. It's more of something for the story, and the problem was I wasn't really 100% playing Last of Us for the story, as I knew I'd see the gist of it from the show, as the show is even more story-based than than the DLC, with really little to no violence. This episode featured the Stalkers, which I now know are the names of the stealthy zombies. Which is great, because the stealthy zombies are honestly the coolest of the zombies. Bloaters are cool, but the stealthy zombies are interesting. The fact that they stealth around is really cool. I quite enjoy that concept, and yeah, really, it's nice to see at least one of the many zombie types, as they always, in my opinion, seem to fail having the different zombie types. Either way, the overall story of episode 7 was pretty good. And I've seen, again, Arya play the DLC, and it was relatively accurate from what I could tell. Except for the lack of a water gun fight, but again, they are against, and I do mean against, violence, even if it's just a water gun. Either way, continuing on, it's nice to see some Ellie backstory, but she is still being an absolute jerk. Though it's a lot less, noticeable, as she's kind of being a jerk in a jokey way to her friend. And in comparison to Joel, the guy she literally just met, yeah, I'd say I prefer it this way. Arya said she thinks the emotion was portrayed a lot better in the episode, but then proceeded to watch the gameplay again and say, no, I think it was portrayed better here. I'm not really sure what to believe. I think, though, speaking from a person who did not play the DLC as a standalone thing, it was pretty solid episode. This episode really knew how to get its emotion around, and it's nice to see that Joel is still alive, stemming from their thing in the last episode. Of course, I've actually, at this point in time filming, I have beaten the game, so I know what's going to happen. I could, whenever I want, play the DLC at this point. So, yeah. But, contrary, getting off topic here, so far this episode was pretty good. It was a solid episode, again, and I don't mind just having a only solid episode. I am fine with having a solid episode compared to just the okay stuff we've been getting, as the past few episodes haven't been episode 6 wasn't as good, and episode 2 is still garbage, and episode 4 is also not that great. They haven't been consistent. The third episode, still being their best episode, portrayed the most amount of emotion, which is what this show is trying to do, but still fails to keep as its main point. As you're looking at, because the game is like, yeah, there's emotion, but there's also gameplay, lots of violence to, as I've mentioned before, actually, there's lots of violence to take a deep breath, and they just put all of this emotion on you and expect it to be enjoyable, but in the end, it's just too much, and also too little for a zombie apocalypse-based show. Like, essentially, there is no zombies in this show. There has been very little, and when they were in large quantities, they've been in armies, and they don't really even fight them. Except for episode 5, as a matter of fact. And episode 5 is the second best episode, not because of violence or anything. This episode was solid, about as solid as episode 1. Episode 1 was pretty good. I gave that one a solid 8 out of 10. And, I don't think anyone should mind it. It was a pretty good episode. Again, I would say an 8.4 out of 10. I think I gave 5 an 8.5. It's a solid episode. It knew what it was doing. It was relatively accurate to the game. Characters were done perfectly fine. And yeah, it was nice to see Ellie just have fun, instead of just being this absolute monstrous person that she is. Like, it's nice to see Ellie actually have some character, which is true in the game, as she starts off a bit obnoxious. She goes up ladders before you, but then she grows closer and stops trying to go up ladders when you start playing as her. Wrong point, but, it is something. Either way, I'm getting way too off topic. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you all in the next. Thank you for Velma. Apparently, I've gotten, I think, 9 likes. Thank you guys all for that. I will start watching Mystery Incorporated while watching other shows, such as, like I mentioned, CW The Flash, and apparently soon The Mandalorian Season 3, March 1st. Also, I've started giving Steven Universe a second chance. Update, I regret it. Yeah. Thank you all for watching this episode, and I will see you all in the next episode. Episode 7, pretty solid. Bye.